Oh, this is Sean Matthews for the week 3 assignment for the Java class. I know it's a few days late. I was having trouble with the scanner input. I couldn't get the method to work right and utilize it properly. But what I did for coding over the week, last week, was taking the the currency program that the professor had written and kind of followed along and rewrote it. I then took that and kind of beautified it a little bit further. I removed some things, changed some variables around. Certain things that I ended up doing was that I gave it a new decimal format that throws zeros in the front and there's two zeros in the back. Because if you did the multiplication of a double and it happened to be a whole number, it wouldn't draw these two zeros for us. If it ended up being less than 3 digits on the way it was originally set up, you'd end up having uh, a zero in the front sometimes, or no, you wouldn't even have zero at all. It would actually just drop it and then misalign everything. So what I ended up doing was going through a lot of stuff. I created the trimming, not the trimming, the formatting by utilizing this here, the new decimal format. So this is the format the number would come in as. I believe we're up to the $1 billion or the billion mark. Um, that's where I ended up pulling it in here. So that way there, after it prints out the titles, the next row it's going to print a format of the values that are multiplied. But it threw in all those zeros in the front, and I needed to replace those zeros with spaces. So I created another one called trim leading zeros, and that way there replaced all leading zeros with a space. And I could not, for the life of me, get the scanner to work in here. So I ended up putting the scanner inside of this portion right here. I also cleaned up some things, removed some variables and stuff that weren't even being used anymore because of the changes I made. So when I end up outputting this now, it does ask you for a value that you want to multiply. And I'll say I want to multiply 452,033 as an example. I'll hit enter, and it's going to go ahead and do the hard-coded values that we had previously set for currency transforming conversion. And now you can see it'll actually output right here, and it lines up perfectly to the right. All the front zeros are dropped, so that's all perfectly aligned. I can do that even with smaller digits if I wanted to. I'll say 10. And you can see that it's all staying perfect uniformly to the right of all the titles, and I just thought it looked very, very good. Tonight, however, I went ahead and took a stab at it again, and actually decided to make the program call it get data. I wrote this here pretty quickly, surprisingly. This one right here is taken a lot of the stuff that I've already done previously with that I figured out last week with researches and such. I created the decimal formatting. I don't believe, yeah, I did put in the trimming in here as well, and I got the scanners to actually work this time, which is quite nice. So that way there, when this is run, it's going to ask you, what do you want your first number to be multiplied to? So we'll just go ahead and give it some sort of random number. It's a float, so give it some digits, enter, and it's going to ask you what do you want to multiply it by, and I'll give it some sort of digit, enter, and then it'll actually output that format right there. Now, this doesn't look as pretty with the way the formatting worked out. I don't have titles for it and whatnot, but that's something I could probably work on later on, and hopefully maybe get that submitted in addition to what I've already done. And that's all I have. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.